I recently came across this divorce lawyer. He really caught my attention. I like his take on things. He's honest, he's direct, he doesn't sugarcoat things, and I like the way he thinks. He talks about life, relationships, and naturally divorce. So I have put together a collection of his most powerful clips. The first clip I'm sharing is his most controversial opinion, but this is exactly my opinion, and this is the advice I give to my clients.
My most controversial opinion is that the most important thing in people's lives and their greatest accomplishment should not be their children. If you say the most important thing that ever happened, the greatest thing I ever accomplished in life was having children, I find that logic very strange. Because if you say the most important, greatest thing I ever did in my life was having children, well, is then the greatest and most important thing your children ever did going to be having children? And is the greatest thing their children ever did is having children? Because that's the ideology of a virus or a cancer cell. Like, it's not like growth for the sake of growth for the sake of growth. Like, I think there has to be a higher, nobler purpose to life than reproduction.
Some of you may not agree with this opinion. Having children is no doubt a source of love, joy, and it gives our life purpose. And if we stop having children, human race will decline and then completely disappear. Our life's sole purpose shouldn't be children. We should have a life of our own. We should have goals, purpose, achievements besides having our children. Having children is an important part of life, but there is more to life than children. I've seen so many moms whose sole purpose was children, and when the children grow up, they start becoming very depressed because they lose themselves in their children. You shouldn't lose yourself in your children. Now he's going to talk about pure, true love.
When was the first time you experienced true love?
When I was a little boy, my father was not a particularly effusively loving guy. He was a Vietnam veteran. He was a bad alcoholic. Growing up, he was very unemotional to me. And I remember I had this best friend, Tommy, and we had pizza one night at my parents' house. And, pizza's cut into like 8 slices. And Tommy and I were like, growing boys. We wanted to eat, like crazy. We ate really fast. We each ate our 3 slices, and my dad would have had 2 left, for him. And we ate so fast that our 6 slices were gone, and there was just 2 left. And I know my dad was like super hungry, but he was like, if you guys want, you can have them. And I remember, we just ate them like you would, obliviously, like a kid. And a couple of weeks later, I was at my friend's house, same friend, and they ordered pizza. And there was like, same thing, 8 slices. And his dad ate like 4 slices. And I remember thinking, my dad would never do that. And I remember I felt very loved. Because I remember thinking, like, this is a guy who'd never said he loved me. Like, ever. It just wasn't in his vocabulary. It wasn't who he was. But I just remember thinking, like, oh, he loves me. Like, it satisfied him more to see me eating that extra piece of pizza than what eating that piece of pizza would have given to him.
He said so many things in such little time, and this is so true. Actions speak way louder than words, and words mean nothing unless they are backed by actions. Sometimes you don't even have to say words, and you can see in other people's actions how much they care about you, how much they love you. And these are little acts of kindness, consideration, love that flourish any relationship. It was beautiful. The next clip is what I didn't know, but then I thought about it and it seemed to be true. I want to know what all of you think about it.
I mean, I've always said that I think the core truth I've learned in my life is that the hard thing to do and the right thing to do are usually the same thing. So I would often challenge anybody who reaches out to me about anything that they're struggling with. I would say to them that what is the hard thing to do in this situation? Because that's probably the right thing to do.
Wow. It is like, it's so profound, and it really made me think that if you are in doubt about a situation, the hard thing is usually the right thing to do. So I'll definitely keep this advice in mind, and I want to know what you all think about it. And the next clip is some quick stat about divorce and remarriage.
I had a client last week say to me, they're right kind of in the middle of their divorce. And I said, 86% of people are remarried within 5 years of their divorce. And they said, oh, I am never doing that. Are you kidding? I am never doing this again. And every time they say that, I laugh because I think to myself, I'm like, you're so wrong. And I get it. Like, you don't see it right now. Like right now,
It reminds me a story about my patient. So he had alcohol dependence, and he came to me and he was in really bad shape, and he said, I will never ever drink alcohol. If someone will offer it to me, I will slap him. And what happened? The day he left, the day he drank again. And this is a very important advice he's giving about relationship.
but the problem is, when you say to your partner, hey, I feel like we kind of lost the plot, rather than hearing that as, hey, this is really important to me. You're really important to me. Yeah, work's important, kids important, but you and me, that's really important. Like, it's equally, if not more important. So I feel a certain way. I feel like we've lost the plot. And I'm not saying that's your fault. I'm not saying it's my fault. I'm saying it's the kid's fault. I don't know whose fault it is. I don't really care. But I don't want to lose the plot because I care about you. And this story is important to me. People don't hear it that way. People hear it as, we lost the plot. Well, what do you want me to do about it? Like, okay, so I'll just ignore the kid? What do you want? What do you want? I'm sorry, I'm doing the best I can. And that's not the way to hear that. I understand. I think it's very human to hear it that way. But I genuinely believe that, yeah, it's like you forgot to water the plant. Like, and nobody meant to kill the plant, but you killed the plant because you weren't thinking about the plant. And by the way, plant's right there. You walk past it every single day. You just not once thought, oh yeah, I got to remember to water the plant.
It is such a good marriage advice or relationship advice. A lot of times what happens is that partners see each other, but they really don't see each other. Like, there's a plant in your house. You see it, but do you really see it? So it's just like really paying attention to the partner. I say that it's all about quality versus quantity. So even if you set up a time of half hour to spend with your partner, when you truly see them, truly hear them, without any phone, without TV, without any distractions, I think that's more than enough to keep the love and relationship going. And the last clip I want to share, in which I partly disagree with him, is about cheating.
Do you see that a lot, where the partner has accepted the other partner cheating?
Yes, I've had a lot of people who come in and say to me, he had a bunch of affairs over the years and I just let it go. Like,
really? Or
she had a bunch of affairs over the years and we didn't make an issue of it.
Okay,
yeah,
so
really. And see, just the fact that and it's understandable, I'm not criticizing you, but the fact that you go, really? Okay, why would that be that shocking? Like, people cheat all the time. People step outside of their relationship all the time. People like diversity of sexual partners.
Okay, so here's the question then. Have you ever seen an affair in the presence of someone being in love?
I don't know that I'd be qualified to say whether someone was in love or not. Here's what I will say, because love is an emotion and love is a verb.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I've certainly seen people that were having affairs and in every aspect of their outward life appear to be deeply committed to their marriage.
Okay. So they were
an economic provider. They were a diligent parent. They were attentive to the emotional state of their partner. They still had an active sexual relationship with their partner, but it wasn't let's say, a terribly prolific one, perhaps.
So you can cheat and be in love?
Sure. I mean, listen, just the term cheat, okay, well, then a cheat meal. Like, you can be on a healthy diet and enjoy a cheat meal, and there's something great about it because it's a cheat meal.
I just don't agree with him here, most of it, because cheat meal is not betrayal. Like, we know we are having a cheat meal. So it's very different than cheating in marriage. cheat meal can be taken as an open marriage. Cheating is, the core of it is deception. And deception and betrayal is very, very hurtful. So it's different than open marriage. It's different than having multiple partners with consent. Betrayal and deception, it's very difficult to overcome. I'm not saying that people cannot overcome it. They can overcome it, but it spoils things. The food become like how food becomes spoiled and rotten. It spoils things. It spoils love.